What does the tarot have in store for your astrological sign this August? Let's find out. Hi, I'm Dr. Elliot Adam from ElliotOracle.com. I'm also the author of the award-winning Fearless Tarot, How to Give a Positive Reading in Any Situation from Llewellyn Books, and the upcoming Tarot in Love, Consulting the Cards and Matters of the Heart, which is now available for pre-order on Amazon. This is now my second Tarotscope series for the month of August. I did one last month for July, in which I give a little reading for each astrological sign. I'm going to pick 2 cards for each sign, starting with Aries and ending with Pisces. And I added some little timestamps at the bottom of your screen to make it a lot easier for you to find your particular message. If you want an even more nuanced reading, you might also want to listen to the message for your moon sign or your rising sign. So without further ado, let's get into the astrological tarotscopes for the month of August 2022. So the first card is for Aries. And for Aries, the first card we're going to go into is what it's best to place your focus on this next month. And here we see the dreaded death card. When we see the death card, this is a card of transformation and change. And a lot of us get afraid of seeing the death card. When we see it, we recoil. Number one, because it's called death, and that's really scary sounding. But number two, because death really does represent a permanent change is before Aries. And what you're needing to put your focus on, Aries, at this time is completing the job. An important threshold stands before you, and it might even terrify you to think of taking that step. However, with the death card, you also have to look in the background of it and notice that there's that sun that's rising over the horizon. And what that indicates for Aries is that a new beginning is going to follow very quickly after this change. Although the death card can scare you because it represents a permanent change, something that you can't move back from, something that's going to be life-changing, it is also a card that does imply that rebirth. So I just think that this is going to be a time for Aries to face their fears, to be brave, and to confront the change that's in front of them. The advice from your inner wisdom, if you're an Aries, is actually the Seven of Cups. And this is a card sometimes of illusion and imagination. We see a figure here who's before a cloud, and out of the cloud are these 7 cups that are emerging. And out of each of the 7 cups are these different objects. Some of them are scary, like dragons and snakes, and some of them are beautiful, like castles and jewels. And what this 7 of Cups card shows is that sometimes when we can't see the pathway in front of us, when it's covered in a fog, well, then we just project our worst case scenarios. It's a dragon or a snake, or our best case scenario on it. Oh, I bet it's going to be a jewel or a crown. And neither is true. And so for Aries, what you're needing to do is stay present. Don't get too far ahead of yourself as far as what lies beyond this major change in front of you. That future is, as of yet, unwritten, and you get to write it. And so don't let your imagination sort of just go on overdrive where it's going to project the best case or the worst case scenario. The second sign we're going to go into is the astrological sign of Taurus. So if you're a Taurus or have a lot of Taurus in your chart, here is going to be the message for you. Where should you put your focus in August? And we actually get the Lovers card. So for Taurus, this is a wonderful month for developing relationships. And, you know, the Lovers is called the Lovers. It can definitely indicate intimate relationships or loving relationships or spouses. However, for me, the Lovers card transcends just those sorts of relationships. When I see the Lovers, I really feel that you're going to be most successful this next month, Taurus, if you work in tandem with others. This is going to be a time to cooperate. It's not going to be your way or the highway. It's going to be a compromise. And the Lovers could just indicate for Taurus that this is also a really important time to sort of get the disparate parts of yourself back in harmony with one another. The Lovers card shows the man, the woman, and then the angel that's above. And what those represent are the 3 different aspects of ourself. You know, the male could be our worldly, rational self. The female on the card could represent your emotional nature. And that angel is that transcendent spirit part of the self. And with the Lovers card, when they come up, they indicate that it's important to harmonize these 3 parts of yourself. So if you're not just working in the mundane with other people and relationships, this Lovers card could really indicate that it's time to harmonize yourself, to get those disparate parts of yourself working together again. The advice from your inner wisdom, if you're a Taurus, for August is actually the Strength card. And the woman on the Strength card is a symbol for your higher self. And the Lion on the Strength card is a symbol for the things in your life that can feel out of control. And you can see the woman here, she's taming the lion. And the lion actually enjoys the taming. He's actually licking her hand as she's taming him. And what this indicates for Taurus is that if you exercise self-control this next month, if you rein in the beast, if you take control of whatever the lion is for you, for some people it's their fear, for some people it's their anger, or for some people it's something that just feels like it's gotten out of control. Taurus, you're just going to want to apply just daily self-control and apply good decision-making little by little in order to tame the beast. Also, the Strength card can indicate that you're strong. You're able to handle what's in front of you. And for Taurus, we got 2 major arcana cards here. So you're going to be working on some major stuff. This is going to be a time where you're really coming into your own spiritually as well. Next, let's go into the astrological sign of Gemini. So if you're a Gemini or have a lot of Gemini in your chart, the first card is going to be where it's best for you to place your focus for August. And the card we get is the Knight of Cups. And the Knight of Cups is the messenger of love in the tarot. He can also represent romance. He can also represent communicating your feelings. He wears the winged helmet and sandals or boots of Mercury, the messenger god. And what the Knight of Cups does better than anybody is put feelings into words. Sometimes when we're experiencing a feeling in the background of our consciousness and we don't know quite what it's trying to tell us, it makes us feel uneasy. And if we can't identify what that feeling is, we might also feel like we're ruled by it. And the Knight of Cups is telling you to be brave, to face your heart, to give a name to the feeling that you're feeling, and to allow yourself to feel it. If you bravely feel your feelings, they're going to loosen their grip on you. The Knight of Cups can also indicate a wonderful time for romance for Gemini. This could be a time to open your heart or to form connections. But always let love guide your words when we see the Knight of Cups. That's going to be so important for August. The second card for Gemini is advice from your inner wisdom. And we actually get the Ace of Pentacles. And the Ace of Pentacles in the tarot is a card of new opportunities. You know, if you look it up online or anywhere, it will say a new job, a new opportunity, something opening for you. Sometimes the Pentacles suit is associated with finances or money. But for me, and I write about this in Fearless Tarot, there is also a sense with Pentacles that they represent what you value or your sense of worth or worthiness. And the Ace of Pentacles could indicate for Gemini that this is going to be a new day that's dawning for you, about what you really feel you're worth and what you're able to bring to the fore. If there is a new opportunity in front of you, you want to take it if you're a Gemini. This looks like a really successful opportunity, especially if it affects your finances, your wealth, or long-term security. Next, we got the astrological sign of Cancer. So if you're a Cancer or have a lot of Cancer in your chart, here is your message for August. So first, we have the Seven of Pentacles. And the Seven of Pentacles says for Cancer, you've planted a lot of seeds and a lot of the heavy lifting's done. Here we see a worker who's in the garden and his money tree isn't quite in full bloom yet. It's not ready for harvest. He's waiting. And he's patient. He's satisfied with his work. You can even see he looks rather pleased with the job he's done. So when we see the Seven of Pentacles, it's so important for Cancer to just be patient. Know that this is a work in progress that's in front of you. Whether it's in your career, your relationships, the Seven of Pentacles is telling you to be patient. It's not quite in full bloom yet, but you are on the right track. And now is not a time for huge emotional overhauls. What you're going to want to do is prune your life right now and just alter it just in these little ways instead of just throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So for Cancer, this is going to be a time where you want to be patient and just tend the seeds of your goals and just wait. They're coming into bloom. Second card for Cancer is advice from your inner wisdom, and there is your card. It's the Moon. The Moon is the astrological body that rules the sign of Cancer. And the Moon is, like Cancer, extremely sensitive. What the Moon is in Latin, the word for it is luna, where in English we get our word lunatic from. So what the meaning of this card is that there are these unconscious feelings and forces going on, and you're going to want to pay attention to them. You're going to want to listen to your instincts and validate them and not shove them down and say, no, I don't believe you. Actually, it's this. If you're clinging on to something that's at war with your inner instincts, this is going to lead to turmoil, and it might make you feel kind of like a lunatic. And so it's important that you're just getting back in touch with the reality of what you're feeling. What are your instincts telling you? They are always going to guide you. Next, we got the astrological sign of Leo, and happy birthday, Leo, for those of you who are born in August. First card for Leo is where it's best to place your focus for August. And we got the World card. Good for you, Leo. You have come full circle with something extremely important. The World card says that you're not just finishing up a chapter of your life, you're finishing up a volume. And the World is a card of completion. It could just indicate that you're mastering something. There's success at hand. And the World is just a marvelous card for finishing a cycle, moving on, getting on to this next step. So I just think with the World, this is going to be a time where Leo comes full circle. The World can also advise you to close the circle on things, finish the cycle with something, especially if it's destructive or it's getting in your way. It's time to complete it. But the World is saying you've learned so much on your journey up until now, and this is going to be your year to apply that wisdom. The advice from your inner wisdom, however, Leo, for the month of August is the Chariot card. And here we see the charioteer. He's leaving the walled city behind him, and he's going out into the world. And his chariot is pulled by two sphinxes, which are creatures of mystery in ancient Egypt. And what this indicates is that the mystery is pulling you forward, Leo. It's pulling you forward toward victory. This is really going to be an important year for you. The Chariot is always a card of victory, accomplishment. And it basically tells you that when you act, you win. And when you avoid, you lose. And so it's important that you're courageous, that you're brave, that you're leaving that comfort zone behind you, that you're crossing the threshold of the river, and you're not letting your feelings hold you back. So Leo, this is going to be such a huge year for you. We got the World, we got the Chariot card, two major arcana cards of victory and accomplishment. Next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Virgo. So if you're a Virgo or have a lot of Virgo in your chart, this is your message. And this card just flew out. And here we see the Page of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles is the eternal scholar or student of the tarot. And when he comes up, he says that there's an area that's important for you to study at this time. This is also a time to gather data, information, and learn. And you'll notice on the Page of Pentacles card that there's everything in the state of its infancy in the background. So if you look at that little cluster of trees there, they're not quite a forest. And then even that little hilltop in the distance, it's not quite a mountain range. And then there's also that little field that's not quite a farm yet. And I'm just getting this sense for Virgo that you've planted these seeds, they're in their infancy, they are growing beautifully. But you have to calm down and realize that this needs time to grow. And as long as you're allowing yourself to learn at this time, to educate yourself, to give yourself the knowledge that you're needing, this is going to be a wonderful time for you to thrive. The second card for Virgo is advice from your inner wisdom. And we actually get the King of Wands. For me, the King of Wands is the self-made king of the tarot. I like to imagine him being a soldier who isn't born royal, but has to prove himself through battles. And you can see that he's got those humble lizards by his throne. And what I feel with the King of Wands is competency, wisdom, the ability to take the heat. The King of Wands is telling you to be wise, Virgo, to look at the long game, and to know that everything's going to come into fruition in its proper time. The King of Wands is also a card of growth and expansion. So this is going to be a time where you really want to come up with that game plan. And also a page and a king for Virgo. Court cards in the tarot can often signify important personalities in our lives. So this might be a time, again, where you're turning to others who exemplify the qualities of the Page of Pentacles or the King of Wands to help you get to your goal. And next, we're going to go into the astrological sign of Libra. So if you are a Libra or have a lot of Libra in your chart, this is going to be the message for you. Where is it best to place your focus, Libra? We actually get the Four of Wands. Libra, you've been under a lot of stress, and the Four of Wands can definitely indicate that it's time to let your hair down again. The Four of Wands actually shows a party happening where these people are unselfconsciously dancing and they're letting go. They're allowing themselves to be free. The Four of Wands is a card of connection and even relationships, but it's not like a heavy lovey-dovey card. The Four of Wands is more a card that's about acquaintanceships and friendships and allowing yourself to just hang out with people because you enjoy their company. The Four of Wands is telling you that this is a good time to socialize. And so if there is a social aspect to your life that feels like it hasn't been expressed, this could be a time to go out, to express yourself, and to have fun with whatever you're doing. The Four of Wands will always remind you to inject some joy into what you're doing. Next for Libra, it's going to be advice from your inner wisdom for August. And we actually get the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups shows the figure who's looking at the 3 spilled cups, but not the 2 cups that are still standing. He's looking at those spilled cups and he's like, isn't that awful? The cups are spilled. There's no hope. Oh, if only it wasn't like that. And the Five of Cups can definitely indicate that you're dealing with something that is a loss or a challenge or a disappointment. Maybe something's not going 100% the way you expected it to. But although the Five of Cups does indicate that Libra has endured some losses, those 2 cups that are still standing are reminding you that all is not lost. And if you can turn away from the wreckage of whatever the sadness is or the trauma or the disappointment from the past is and put your focus back on what's working in your life, you can build on that. And I would also just inject that joy of the Four of Wands this next month. It's really a choice for Libra. You can be kind of down in the dumps about everything not being perfect, or you can look at what's working in your life and build on that and have some fun. Next, we got the astrological sign of Scorpio. So if you're a Scorpio or have a lot of Scorpio in your chart, this is going to be the message for you. So first card is where it's best for Scorpio to place your focus, and you have the Six of Wands. This is a card of accomplishment, achievement. You will wear the laurel crown. There's something that's in front of you that you just need to finish, you need to complete, and you also need to maintain your dignity. The figure on the Six of Wands is head and shoulders above the rest. He's excellent. And he's not afraid to promote himself. So for Scorpio this next month, this could be a time to find your confidence again, to take the high road, to stand in your integrity, and to be excellent in some way. Also, the Six of Wands can just indicate that you need to restore your self-esteem, that if you're feeling good, so much of what you're going to try to accomplish is going to work in your favor. Second, for Scorpio, we have advice from your inner wisdom. And the card we see here is the Queen of Pentacles. I get a feeling like something is really good that's on the road for Scorpio ahead in August. There's good financial news. There's a good news for your long-term plans. And something that you've been working hard for is coming into fruition. However, you do have to watch out for your anxiety derailing everything. On the Queen of Pentacles card, you see the stately queen who's looking at the coin in her lap. And she's focused on her goal. And the garden is still coming into full bloom. But if you look in the bottom corner of her card, there's a little rabbit hidden there. And that rabbit can sometimes signify anxiety, nervous energy. If you ever see rabbits outdoors, they're always afraid you're going to eat them. They run away. And what this can indicate is that this is an important time not to let your anxiety take the megaphone, Scorpio. Don't talk yourself out of your long-term success. Tear yourself away from your biggest fears and put your focus on your long-term goals, because that's where your success is going to lay. Next, we have the astrological sign of Sagittarius. So first card for Sagittarius is where it's best to place your focus this next month. And we actually get the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is always a card of the past in the tarot. And if it's coming up for August, and if it's coming up in a future position, it could indicate that Sagittarius is dealing with the past, completing a cycle, closing a circle, coming full circle. It could also be a time when you're revisiting people from the past or issues from the past or working through the past. But it's so important that you understand where you've been, because that's really going to inform how you best proceed and where you move forward to in the future. And so for Sagittarius, I just think it's time to remember. Maybe remember who you are. Maybe remember the last time you felt the most joyous. And wherever that joy was put down or set down in the past, maybe it's time to circle back and pick up that disparate part of yourself that you might have left behind. But the Six of Cups is a card of really reacquainting yourself with your history and learning from it. Second, we got advice from your inner wisdom if you're a Sagittarius. And we got the Magician card. This is the month for Sagittarius to set intentions. Magic is running through your life. The magician holds the wand up in the sky and he's pointing downward, and there's that old adage, as above, so below. So there could be a sense that you're manifesting. What you think about, what you're putting your focus in, is going to create tomorrow's reality. The magician reminds you that your thoughts are like magic spells. They're totally going out into the world and they're creating what you're experiencing. And what you're needing to do is shift where your focus has been going and focus on empowerment. The magician is also a highly intelligent card, so this could just indicate that this is a time to apply your mind. But everything is within your grasp. Next, we got the astrological sign of Capricorn. So if you are a Capricorn or have a lot of Capricorn in your chart, this next message is going to be for you. First, for Capricorn is where it's best to place your focus. And we get the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles in the tarot is the only knight who's on a horse that isn't moving forward at this time. It's at a standstill. It's waiting there. The Knight of Pentacles, he's got these brown fields behind him. He wishes that he could get them to grow, and yet they're not showing any sign of growth. So sometimes the Knight of Pentacles has been called the young man of unfulfilled expectations. For Capricorn, it's important that you realize that if there is a lull in the energy, if something's been really productive up until now, and then it gets a little bit slow as we go into this next month, don't panic. The growth is still happening beneath the surface. It's important that you're managing your expectations and you're not projecting too much negativity on it. The Knight of Pentacles is also associated with the astrological sign of Virgo, which has all to do with the details. So this could be a time for Capricorn to gather more information. And maybe if something isn't as productive or as active in one sector of your life, this could be a time where you're really reinforcing another and gathering that data and knowledge that you're needing there. Advice from your inner wisdom, if you're a Capricorn for this next month, is actually the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups is a card of gratitude, joy. It's also a card of connection, relationships. And there's a rainbow on the card. And what that rainbow can indicate is that a storm is passing. And now the rainbow's out. And so what I'm really feeling for Capricorn is that the hope is in front of you. This could be a time where you're stopping the work. You're stopping the obsession with making something proceed that isn't ready to. And instead, you're stopping now and acknowledging what's happening in front of you. And you're really showing the gratitude for that. The next sign we're going to go into is the astrological sign of Aquarius. So if you're an Aquarius or you have a lot of Aquarius in your chart, this is the message for you. First card is where it's best to place your focus. And we get the Eight of Wands. The Eight of Wands indicates for Aquarius that life will be speeding up. August is going to be very active and busy, but it's not in a bad way. The Eight of Wands is the only card in the Waite Smith Tarot deck that doesn't depict a human or even the symbolic part of a human. It just shows these inanimate wands flying through the air at breakneck speed. And for Aquarius, what I feel for you is that although things are going to speed up, there's going to be a lot coming your way. It's important that you're not personalizing it or attributing in some sort of human emotion to what's happening around you, but instead that you're just following the momentum. It looks like there's some success that's catapulting you forward, and it's time to spread your wings and ride that wind. Next, we got advice from your inner wisdom if you're an Aquarius. And we got the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups shows this merchant who's really satisfied with himself. You see it in front of the table, set meticulously with those 9 golden cups all in a row. And what this is indicating for Aquarius is that this month of August is going to be a time where you're setting the table for your future success. There's a banquet ahead. There's a party. There's something to celebrate. There's something that you're going to be really satisfied that you've accomplished. But right now is the time for making those preparations. The Nine of Cups is always associated with a wish coming true. And so this could be a time, again, to set your intentions and to make your preparations. And although this might be a busy, productive, very active time, and it can even get a little bit overwhelming and stressful, I just think that by carefully setting the table and taking that breather, and maybe even sitting down like the figure on the Nine of Cups, you're going to allow yourself to get clear, and you're going to enjoy what's happening right now instead of freaking out about it. And then finally, we have the astrological sign of Pisces. So if you're a Pisces or have a lot of Pisces in your chart, here's the message for you. Where it's best to place your focus this next month for Pisces is actually the Tower card. And I know a lot of you are probably gasping, oh no, it's the Tower. But the Tower for me is one of the most healing cards in the tarot. The Tower in itself is actually a prison. And the figures who were in the Tower were prisoners of their own making. And the Tower represents symbolically the state of denial. And each lie we tell ourselves, like, no, I'm actually not feeling anything. No, everything's fine. Everything's good. No, I'm all right. Every time you tell yourself something like that, the Tower gets taller by a brick and it encloses you more. And the lightning bolt on the Tower card is that lightning bolt the universe will always send whenever you're too much in your head and you're not back in touch with your reality. And the figures are getting ejected from the Tower to go back to Earth. And so it's like, come back to Earth, come back to reality. Maybe it's time to let go of an old structure, Pisces, that no longer serves you, that's become an imprisoning thing, something that's made you feel stuck. The Tower is a hugely clearing card. And so I just think that this is going to be an important time for you to let the past get swept away and make room for something new to find its way to you. And also, the state of denial is not sustainable. So the Tower is telling you to acknowledge your real feelings, acknowledge what's really happening right in front of you. Don't make these mental excuses for it anymore. The Tower is just telling you to realize what's before you. And finally, the lightning bolt represents epiphanies. It represents new awareness, the flash of insight. I really think that although this might not be the time when you're feeling the most stable through August, this is also going to be the time when you have the greatest insight into yourself. And I'm also seeing a lot of success happening as a result of it down the road for Pisces. And then the advice from your inner wisdom, if you're a Pisces, is actually justice. You know, Lady Justice, she's seated between two gray pillars, and gray is the color of neutrality. And what justice reminds us to do is to be neutral with what we're looking at, especially when it comes to the truth. Justice is the archetype of the truth. She has no room for a denial or a pretending. She looks at the facts and she looks at what really is, and she's very clear about it. So this could be a time for Pisces to be very clear-eyed, but also not to get too emotionally out of sorts by what you're seeing. But like Lady Justice, remain impartial, be a bit detached, and really just allow yourself to come back into balance by embracing truth. And that is this month's astrological Tarotscope. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, do like and subscribe and share with a friend. I'm sure someone else would like to get their tarot astrological message as well. You can always find me on my social media, Elliot Oracle on Instagram, or you can just visit me on my website, elliotoracle.com. And you can also schedule a personal one-on-one tarot session with me there. Otherwise, I hope you all have a very safe and happy month of August, and do take care of yourselves, because I do plan on being back next month with September's Tarotscope. So do take care.